Welcome. Hello. We're here for the Women's Success Swagger Inner Secrets call. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching the replay. So excited to share some inner secrets to greater success, more fulfillment, more purpose, passion, fun, and getting the profits, of course, because that's what we're all here to do, because with more profits, we can do more and have more and be more in our communities, in our families, and in the world. So that's what we're up to. So welcome to all of you who are watching the replay. Welcome to the ladies in the room. Thank you. Thank you. Love you so much. So let's get going. Time is of the essence. And I'd like to also remind you that it is your time. Now is your time. So we're going to take just a few minutes, do a quick recap of days 1, 2, and 3, and then share some inner secrets that were kind of the bonus after this 3-day challenge that we ran this week, which was just awesome. Okay, so I'll share my screen. We'll get going. And thank you so much. So be thinking for yourself about, what we're going to do a little quick definition of what swagger is and what swagger is not. So welcome again. So glad you're here. We did the 3-day Swagger Up Challenge, and it was fun. Oh my gosh, we had some special bonuses, fun time. We had, we did some dancing. I'll just admit to it. We'll finish it up with something kind of fun like that. But we got ourselves moving because we were moving with energy. And, as you all know, emotion and energy are the keys here. Okay. Because we do enough sitting, right? Yes. So as you may know, I'm Kathleen Caldwell, founder of C-Suite Network's Women's Leadership Council and the Women's Success Accelerator. I'm an author, speaker. I write things. I do a lot of events in person and online. And essentially, I'm a lover of life. And so if you're watching this replay, you're here. I just want to say genuinely and authentically, I adore you. And I love you. And I thank you, Lisa. You're on our call today. We're just kind of doing a little inner secrets thing. And you showed up, and you always show up, Lisa. So we'll hear more about what you're doing with your passion project here in a moment, because we want to showcase you as well. So thanks for being on here. We have an aggressive agenda, as we always do, because we keep things moving fast. We got time. We got to get going here. So we're going to do a quick recap of the highlights of day 1, 2, and 3. Then we're going to talk about how do we train our minds and our bodies for success swagger, because there's no getting burned out. There's no getting drained out. There's no getting burned out with this. There's an opportunity to replenish the supply of success and swagger with our system. And then we're going to finish up with some new insights and next steps. Okay, because we're not like just thinking about theories here. We don't have time for that. We talk about distinctions and ideas and strategies, but then how to activate them and put them to good work. Okay, so we started off our 3-day challenge with defining your idea and really coming clear about what's your definition of swagger. Okay, because I believe it's not only a beingness, but it's a doingness. And, we took a few minutes to laugh a little bit about, typically the masculine definition of swagger. And that would be John Wayne, typically women and men would think of, and of course, Elvis. So we were on day 1 having a lot of fun with imitating a video clip about John Wayne. We love John Wayne. We're not making fun of John Wayne, but we're like saying, one of John Wayne's big lines was, you can call me Jake and you can call me John, but don't ever call me Daddy. So we as a group went through and just kind of was trying to do some masculine swagger there. And Elvis, of course, with swinging his hips and doing the gyration, his version of swagger. And we all were like, that really doesn't work for us. That's their definition. It's not feminine swagger. So we also went in and we were looking at a couple examples of contemporary swagger for women. Gaga with, gosh, fantastic blue color hair. And I don't know about you though, I don't have a meat dress in my cold storage at home. She's, bless her, we love her, but there's other definitions of swagger. Queen Elizabeth with her elegant but very stern leadership. Margaret Thatcher, a woman, powerful woman in a man's world in politics in Britain. But all of this is informative, but not important, because your swagger is what we are talking about today. And we read the definition of swagger from dictionary.com. We did not go to the Urban Dictionary. We went to the regular dictionary. But swagger, according to dictionary.com, to walk or strut with a defiant or insolent air, to brag or boast noisily, to bring drive, force, etc., by blustering, and swaggering, a manner or conduct or walk, ostentatious display of arrogance and conceit. Well, guess what, ladies? We are redefining swagger. You can take all this, but we were like, I don't know, it doesn't really fit for us, And typically the word swagger has been used by men, athletes, a lot of times, and rappers. You probably hear them talking about their swagger, but there's a new time now for feminine success swagger. And this is swagger that you can have the embodiment of it. And I did this year the world's first women's swagger survey, the WSS. And what women reported back on is that they often say that swagger for them, the embodiment of it, is owning the room, feeling confident and competent, feeling driven, but driven on your terms, feeling powerful, yet calm, purposeful, sassy, have a moxie about us, and knowing that no matter what, I've got this. That's my own embodiment of swagger, is like I affirm to myself many times a day, take a deep breath in, and say to myself, and get the committee in my head to agree that, hey, I've got this. I've got this. And what I'd also like to add is that you also, with your embodiment of swagger, is that there's a little secret about you that nobody else knows. And on day one, we did some delicious sharing about that little secret. One gal shared that, her secret is that nobody else knows, is that she is a cancer survivor, and that no matter what happens, is she has got this. Cancer has not been able to whip her. And so it was like really profound, the things she knows about her swagger. Another woman shared that she's been all over the world, and that she traveled for all over the world at a very young age. And her little secret is, no matter where she's placed on the planet, she is going to be okay. She will know what to do, and she will be okay. So this is the kind of my little secret that I want to add in as the definition of swagger. So Lisa, if you'd like to participate and jump in, would love to get your point of view on, how these resonate for you, your thoughts about the embodiment of swagger. Love to hear from you.
Absolutely, Kathleen. Thank you. We started this conversation at the beginning of the year, and it touched something very specific for me. And the timing of this, I want to share a swagger story, if you'll allow me. It's not mine, it's my mom's. And I just heard it this past weekend. I was with her for an opportunity to spend a little time. And we were talking about a trip that we made when I was in middle school. And we went to New York, to Manhattan, to Broadway with my school trip. And she was one of the adult chaperones. And just for the record, everybody, the adult chaperones were very naughty and broke all of the rules. And they were the ones who were constantly in trouble. But what she shared with me that I'd never really thought through or understood was she was terrified and had never been to Manhattan, and the whole experience was overwhelming for her. Still very naughty, but nonetheless uncomfortable. what she learned in that, right, is how to ride the subway and get around and be in, the big city. A number of years later, she had an opportunity to study, and she went to Princeton for an 8-week series of whatever it was she was learning. But while she was there, she went on the weekends back into the city to see Broadway shows because she found her swagger and knew that she could do it. And it wasn't as scary and terrifying as it had been built up in her head through her whole life. So swagger is something that we really do need to own as women. And I have lots of fun with that idea, right? And the idea of being confident and owning the room. But on the list that you shared, right, that little secret, we all have that little secret, right? Mine is the introvert that is my more natural state of being, hates walking into a crowded room alone. But with my swagger and a deep breath and an I got this, I do it all the time. Or at least I used to before COVID. We'll get back to that.
But in any room, virtual or live, right, Lisa? That you can own the room and you've got this no
Absolutely.
matter what, right?
Absolutely, right? The deep breath, the I've got this, and we can do anything.
Ah, awesome. And boy, has that informed you being a powerful woman in technically, more of a male oriented field with, processes and procedures and just architectures of different kinds, meaning systems and really technical, deep things that are typically, women historically haven't gone into more of those STEM kinds of things, but you really have blossomed in that area. I mean, writing a book, future proofing cubed, in your company, L Cubed Consulting.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And look at your background, the brain and all of the systems and functions. So yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, you are the embodiment of it. Congratulations. So yeah, so some ideas today about how to even like swagger it up, but do it in a way that works for you, that's authentic to you.
It has to be, right? Your definition and how you show up, Kathleen, with swagger and how I do it will always be very different. Both
Yes, yes.
impactful, both meaningful, and what we need them to be, but always very different.
And isn't that beautiful for everyone who's watching the replay? Is that's really the theme, Lisa, you nailed it, is part of the inner secret to, and I've called it women's success swagger. Yeah, the part of the inner secret, one of many, is make it your own, be authentic, go for it, and know how you can improve, know what you need to be even more successful. And I also think success swagger for women is having that beautiful balance between I'm here over here with me, interested in my own deal, and at the same time I'm also able to be over there with you, interested in your deal and what you're up to. I'm not so over there that I lose myself, but I'm not so over here that I'm all focused on me. So it's that titration and that beautiful balance of you and me making us, right?
Absolutely. And one of the things with the standard definition of swagger, right, it has that negative sort of connotation, that arrogance, that brashness.
Yes.
And
Yes.
for us as women to try to take ownership of that and turn it into a positive, to an empowering phrase, I love that, right? Because being insolent may come somewhat naturally for me, might not be the most flattering aspect of my personality, but how do I turn that into something that is supportive and enabling, and use that to help others rise up and elevate when they may not be feeling their strongest? And so I love the wordplay with women's success swagger, because at first blush, it could be why.
Yeah.
And there's power in it.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Oh my gosh. Lisa, I know you're already teeing things up for the rest of the inner secrets. This is so intuitive and beautiful of you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, great sharing, great wisdom. And it's also, we talked about on day 2, and I'll jump over to our slide for a moment to show that, for women in our 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and beyond, generally women, we get out of college and we're finding our way, or we're finding our way, after traditional school. That also accompanied by this is that our hormones are changing, our bodies are changing. And with, the decline in estrogen over time, we become more of who we authentically are, and we're speaking our mind more, and we're more, we're more alive in some ways, because that nurturing estrogen is not playing the big part as it did when we were a little younger. So you'll notice, and we talked about this quite a bit on day 2, is that even women in their 40s and 50s, we don't give a heck as much. We're going to be doing it no matter what. And, that can be kind of shocking to people around us, but it's time to take off the cloak, the heaviness of the coat that may be weighing us down, to be more of really who we are. Yeah. And embody our own version of success swagger. So yeah, good. Thank you. So let me jump back in and share a couple more slides here. And, the whole key is you define, because guess what? You get to say how it works for you. This is your life. And for all of us, we don't have to live by other people's rules. And, of course, we've got our professional life and we want to be responsible. This is not about being responsible. This is not about being irresponsible. We joked on day 1 and day 2 is the assignment was to go out and exert more success swagger in something that's important to you, to get that moxie up, get that boldness of it. And we also said, please don't book a trip to a foreign country to get a facelift on the, or don't run off with the pool boy. If you happen to have a pool and you happen to have a pool person, don't go out and do something silly, but do something, that really is maybe a bit edgy to you, is maybe a little bit like, wow, didn't think I could do that. Surprise yourself with something that you may not do before, like your mom. She surprised herself by going back into Manhattan and watching some plays, which she loved to do, but taking a risk, knowing that no matter what happens, I've got this and I'll be okay. Yep. So living life every day that way of what can I do today to take a risk, being your authentic best self. This cute little picture here is, I will never be caught wearing a beanie and pink glasses like that. But there are some women that's perfect for them, and you can see it when a person has that authentic success swagger, as opposed to their posers. And we talked about that on day 2 is, we know the difference between posers, and we'll jump in a moment here. But on day 2, through our challenge that was so fun, we then got on the court of life here, and we looked at some areas of life where we'd like to have more swagger, specifically for the rest of the year, because we want to get activated. We talked about where we could have more power, income, impact, maybe more boldness and taking some risks, maybe some more swagger in our relationships, saying something that we've been holding back, but being responsible, of course, and something around having more aliveness and commitment and audacity around our health and our vitality, and ultimately our aliveness. Yeah. So fun sharing around that. So I challenge everyone to think for yourself is, where would you like to have more swagger today, this week, this month, and this year? And we pivoted next to the things that get in the way and diminish our experience of swagger, the push pull of things. Lisa, you and I were speaking about how so many women want to have the success that their careers and their businesses could provide. They want to scale and grow their business, their career. They want to move into the C-level, whether it's within a company or within their own business. But then it's this push pull of life, is these old beliefs that think, if I exert more swagger and I have more success, then it's going to take more time. I'm going to have more responsibility. It's going to cost me in my freedom. So naturally, if someone sees that, hey, it's going to take more time, it's going to take more energy, it's not going to be very fun, well, then why would we want to do that? So giving us that push pull experience. So we had some strategies on how to, like notice that, along with, things that diminish our swagger, worrying, overthinking, perfectionism, having a lack of confidence or certainty, like this urge to like know how it all turns out before we've even taken the first step. Comparison. Oh my gosh, she's doing more than me, or why she's thinner, or she's prettier, or she's this. And also living in regret and living in the past. So, Lisa, I'm just curious for you. I mean, you are a very successful consultant and authority and thought leader. What do you see are some things for your clients? What do they experience in regard to, what diminishes their swagger? What do you see for them?
There's, a theme, and I play with it so often, and it's, the way we've always done it syndrome, and getting stuck. Getting stuck in that mindset of what we did before is what we should be doing, and it worked. Over the past year, we've had this opportunity with the pandemic to go, oh, it wasn't actually working. And we had to flip everything and do everything differently. So in consulting, we've had the conversations around, digital transformations were taking 20 years and never happening in, a pandemic, and poof. That's an example, but there are so many of leaving what we thought was the right thing, but questioning it, challenging the status quo, and going, there has to be a better way.
Yeah.
Because guess what? There really is.
Yeah. And with the incredibly transformational work that you're doing around disruption, it's so perfect. It's so perfect. Having the mox swagger to take the actions, that will cause disruption, positive disruption or whatever kind of disruption, to have the you desire to do it, but also take the appropriate actions is really critical. So
Right.
I commend you with what you're doing because it's so important.
Thank you. And the key word in all of that, right, is the desire. Each human being has to have that before they can take any action. Right? We have to have a what's in it for me, and make that commitment and do. And swagger is just one of those things that we get to take control of and amplify and execute with.
Right on, sister. You got it. Yeah, good. Thank you. So jumping back, I think for me, it's noticing, where are the quote unquote landmines? And the landlines, of course, is what are the things that get me tripped up and could diminish, my fullness of expression, my boldness, my audacity. And, we talked a few minutes before about this, and that, the female swagger brain. I'm doing some research around this, and I highly recommend Dr. Daniel Amen's book about the power of the female brain. What an incredible body of work. He's done so much research on the female brain and how we work, but, emotional changes that we experience when we're perimenopausal, menopausal, postmenopausal is all of these things about feeling irritable, sad, lack of motivation, having anxiety, and then also having aggressiveness, difficulty concentrating, fatigue, mood changes, tension, all of these things, they get in the way of us experiencing our fullness and our success swagger because they're right there. I mean, who wants to do anything bold or exciting if we're experiencing all this? It really tempers it down. So knowing that as a woman, we've got to be looking at the reality of things. We have these big, bold dreams, but at the same time, we look in the reality of the mirror and they don't line up. So part of this is, this poser problem. Some people call it the, you know, the, uh, you know, imposter syndrome or all of that. Well, I call it the poser problem because sometimes, we feel like we're posing. We feel like we're not authentic. We don't feel like perhaps we're deserving of this great success. And energetically, a poser when you see one. And this was brought to light by my niece, Madeline. She's such a brilliant, brilliant young woman. And she noticed someone who was attractive. We were out and about shopping, having dinner, and she noticed someone, but she also noticed like there was this energy that was trying too hard and it was uncomfortable for her. And she said, you know what? She's a poser. And I was like, oh, very interesting. She didn't even meet her. She didn't even talk to her, but she knew energetically there wasn't alignment in who the woman was portraying. Now, this is not to give us more pressure. It's more to say, you know what happens when we're all in alignment? We can actually walk the talk. And, as women, when we get overwhelmed with things, we just got to know this is the anatomy. When we get overwhelmed, too many ideas, too many things we can do, it really causes us to take a downward spiral. I speak firsthand. When I have too many things, I feel overwhelmed. I spin out and then I spin down. And our brain programming starts to take control. We want to have lots of sugar, maybe some extra caffeine. People sometimes go to smoking cigarettes, maybe an extra glass of wine. I love wine, but whatever is extra or excess, maybe some internet surfing, things of that nature. So rewiring us, however, to love the fruits and vegetables is part of our opportunity and challenge to rewire ourselves to be more calm, more confident, and become more centered. So we shared on Wednesday's 3-day challenge about how to get in our body, use the power of our breath, and just get ourselves grounded again. Get grounded and telling ourselves, affirming to ourselves that, we can be consistent in what we want to do. We can be consistent and we can count on ourselves. Okay. Because sometimes swagger can look like, rah! But unless it's grounded, unless it's based in, I've got this, I can do this, I've got the goods, then we don't feel like a poser and we don't get overwhelmed. So always coming back to the truth of our body, the truth of our breath. And ladies, let's just relax. Let's just relax. How many times during the day do you actually just maybe go out in nature for a few minute walk, get your feet on the ground, and also just take a deep breath? One of the things that I do is after webinars and after today, I go in and I get my legs up in a vertical against the wall and I just reset my nervous system. So just taking some deep breaths and just taking a few minutes. It's amazing what getting present with your breath will do to get you set back into your true authentic swagger. Okay. So take that time. And, as we kind of finish up here, part of the inner secrets is that success swagger is, yes, it's about dreams. Yes, it's about daydreaming. It's about big, bold ideas. It's about the things that we could do and the things that we can do and we want to do. But at the same time, the inner secret is that we've got to have the systems. We've got to have the strategies. We've got to have the mentorship and the sisterhood to help us fulfill on this. So that's part of the inner secret is if we try to do it by ourselves, it rarely, rarely works. And Lisa, I'm just wondering if you have any, you'd like to share any sort of insights at this point. I'll take a quick little pause. Insights, because you're a systems girl. You know how important systems are.
I am a systems girl. And one of the things, I guess, on the systems that I'll say, right, they are imperative, but we also have to be willing to break them, right? Doing that simply because we have it doesn't mean that it's good and it's right. When you were sharing the slide about the poser, one of the thoughts that went through my head was, with practice comes mastery. And there's kind of a flip side statement to that, that is, fake it till you make it, which doesn't sound all that great, right? It's not an affirming thought, but being willing to do something that you won't be perfect at, and then doing it again and doing it again, will build up the confidence so that we can lift our swagger and be present and be powerful. And so I personally hate not being good at something. And
Welcome to the club, Lisa.
right,
Yeah,
right.
right. It's really awkward and weird, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
And when we present ourselves as credible professionals, thought leaders, all of these things, but we should also always be learning. And so being in those moments of a little bit of uncertainty and a little bit of discomfort, that's how we learn and we take things to the next level.
Bravo. Yes, absolutely. Yes. Keep learning and keep trying and keep, striving, but at the same time, do it in a way that's really right for you, right for all of us. Because I've been in my career on the perpetual treadmill and the mouse wheel of constantly going. And, that was not swagger at all. And what that did is it led me to striving for something that I really wasn't even sure what I was striving for. But what I do know is that it didn't feel good. And it ended up landing me in the intensive care unit, thinking that I had had a heart attack at age 39. So, that old saying that, if we're not getting the lessons, there's a little bump in the road. If we don't get the lesson after that, then there becomes a major pothole. And then if we don't get the lesson after that, it's probably a sinkhole and then a wall. Well, I saw the signs, but I didn't take action. And, the final wall was going to the emergency room and having a very interesting 2-day stay in the cardiac intensive care unit and having an opportunity to meet with my maker, so to speak, have 2 days of conversation and leave there with a prescription to slow down and take a vacation. Okay. That only goes so far, but to really be given the opportunity and privilege to reinvent my life. Mm-hmm. And so, my part of my mission and purpose is to help women not get to that point, to see the signs and to start creating new options and opportunities long before the health issues can emerge, or the career issues or the marriage issues or whatever it is. Yeah.
We have learned to equate activity with results. And they're
Brilliant.
absolutely not the same, right? A result and an outcome may come easily with very little exertion, but feeling that need to constantly be in motion very seldomly actually drives the result we're looking for.
So brilliant. Yeah, absolutely. And, it's the evaluation time, the taking the time out, what we're doing here for just a few minutes on our webinar, having this kind of really great, insightful conversation. And by the way, if you're watching or listening to the replay, these are golden nuggets that Lisa Levy is dropping here. I hope got your radar up and you're listening up. These are great golden nuggets. So thank you, Lisa, for this. Great.
Thank you,
well, good. So as we wrap up, I think we're in agreement here that, part of another inner secret is not only having the dreams and the desires, but also being able to back it up with those important systems, strategies, and mentorship, and a powerful sisterhood to hold you to account and support you, because we can't be the lone wolf anymore. We need support. And, part of another inner secrets to help you really understand, what your success swagger could be, what's the heart of it is, think about for yourself is, what is it the success that you want for yourself? Like defining it. What is that success? I want to I want to be able to, mine is do what I want, where I want, with whom I want, how I want, anytime I want. And that's nurturing and guiding and mentoring women professionals. And the other thing to think about is, so getting clear about what is the success you want, but then who do you want that success for? So an inner secret about swagger is, hey, I know what I want and I know who I want to have that success for as well. So creating a world where all women can say the same thing, they can do what they want professionally, when they want, where they want, how they want, with whom they want, is very, very important to me. And giving women the tools and the strategies to do that is absolutely part of my life mission. And, I want to take a moment and just tell you about one of my clients. She came to me and literally she was burned out. She was literally burned out. There were days when she was literally working 18 hours a day on her business. And she was getting some success, but she was working way too long. And the impact was her family was constantly complaining to her, when are you going to come out and do things? All you do is work, mom. And her life was taking a toll on her. Yeah, she had the material success. She had a lot of clients, but at what cost? Because she really, ultimately, what success meant to her was a freedom lifestyle. She wanted to take her kids to college and college visits for the younger ones. She wanted to be there with her kids. She wanted to be more involved with her kids. But at the same time, she wanted to have her business be more automated. She wanted to have the systems in place where she could go to the beach, go to the pool, go to a hotel and work a little bit, but also take more time off and take more time out to be with her husband. Ultimately, freedom was what she wanted. And literally within 6 months, we completely re-engineered her business. She has models in place. She's now got a group coaching program, so she gets more leverage on her career. She's the thought leader, the expert in her area, but she's also developed, with my guidance and mentorship, a group coaching program. So literally for about 6 hours a month, she's leading calls with groups. And she's, instead of a one-to-one kind of model now, she has a one-to-many. And she's got that freedom lifestyle and is ecstatic, just ecstatic. And another client of mine was, and she still is, a very successful upper bracket realtor. And this realtor was doing transactions one-on-one, and it was exhausting to her. Well, first we got the systems automated so that she could have an assistant help her and start growing her business. But ultimately, what she wanted to do is she wanted to mentor and guide young realtors because she realized they didn't have a lot of mentorship. So together, she and I, literally again in 6 months' time, created her group coaching program. She now mentors and guides groups of young realtors in a year-long program, and she helps them to perfect the transaction, how to deal with difficult clients. And her big why was she wanted to play more golf with her husband and take more vacations. So I'm so proud to know that literally within 2 weeks of starting the program, she took her first vacation with her husband to a resort. She had not taken a vacation in 5 years. This was her first vacation in 2 years. So needless to say, her husband, very happy. She, very happy. So when we find new ways of doing things, when we get the right guidance and mentorship, we get the right sisterhood around us and the right processes, procedures, anything is possible, ladies. Anything is possible. You don't have to be chained to your business anymore. Okay. So as we finish up, it's your time. It's my time. It's your time. It's our time, right? There's no time like right now. So the part of the inner secrets that I promised to you is, number one, get clear about what you want. What is it that you want? What does success swagger mean to you? And why do you want it? What's your big why? And then start thinking about, and I'd be delighted to help you with a discovery call to talk about this, is what's your unique success swagger system? What is it about that is so unique, that makes you different than others, that you can turn on just like that, your system? Then take one small step. You don't have to put the system in place overnight. It would be pretty tough to do that, but just take one small step. Step out in faith, step out in boldness. Perfection is the enemy. Progress is the goal, right? And when you take one small step, just plan to regroup. How did it work? Reevaluate the success, and then recalibrate, and then take another step after that. So 4 steps. I look forward to having a discovery call with you called the Women's Success Swagger Discovery Session. And in 30 minutes, my gift from me to you is we're going to map out a short plan of just a couple steps, 3s. I love 3s. Map out 3 steps for you on what you can do to take your next step out in faith, backed up by strategies and systems to have your own success swagger, personally, professionally, in any area of your life. And so the link is below. I'll send you the link in the follow-up. Book a time with me. I have limited sessions available. I clear my schedule for a short period of time to do these, but it's important for me to spend some time with you to make sure that you've got your time, you've got your systems up and running. And I'd love to do it complimentary from me to you. Okay. So with that, thank you. Swagger on. And we did a little kind of a fun little music the last time. We're going to do it again. And here we go. A little karaoke. So we want to move with swagger. Okay, move with swagger. Thank you, ladies. Have an awesome day. Hope you got the earworm. Yeah, remember, move with swagger. Okay. Much love, much thanks to you. Have an awesome day. Thank you.